If you enjoy these stories about humanity at its finest, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications.
The event horizon of the wormhole was a shimmering curtain of liquid light, folding in on itself like a dying star's last gasp. On the observation deck of the USS Veritas, Commander Eva Rostova adjusted her uniform, the fabric stiff against her skin. The bridge crew was tense, their breaths held in anticipation. For 3 standard cycles, humanity had waited for the Sylvi, the plant-like sentients who lived in the alternate galaxy connected by this wormhole. The Sylvi experienced time 10 times slower than humans, meaning their responses were measured in years, not seconds. A single conversation could span decades. Eva had spent her career preparing for this moment. She was humanity's best diplomat, a woman who could negotiate with a rock if it meant securing resources for her species. The Sylvi had reached out through the wormhole, a flicker of consciousness that had taken 20 human years to decipher. Their message was simple: they sought a trade. In exchange for rare minerals, they would grant humanity access to their side of the wormhole, a gateway to uncharted stars. The offer was too good to be true. Eva knew it. But the alternative was stagnation. Earth's resources were dwindling, and the human race was running out of options. She watched the wormhole's surface ripple, a sign the Sylvi were ready. A single, glowing tendril emerged, thick as a redwood, and coiled around the deck railing. It pulsed with a slow, rhythmic light. Eva stepped forward, her voice steady. "We are ready to speak." The tendril pulsed again, a response that would take 10 years to translate. She waited. The Sylvi translator, a bulky device strapped to Eva's chest, whirred to life after a decade of silence. The tendril pulsed again, and the translator emitted a low, guttural sound. "We have heard you, human." Eva's heart hammered against her ribs. 10 years. That's how long it had taken for the Sylvi to reply. She had aged visibly in that time, her hair streaked with gray, her face etched with lines. The Sylvi, meanwhile, had not changed at all. Their tendrils remained as vibrant as ever, their presence unchanging. "You asked for tritanium," Eva said, her voice raspy from disuse. "We can provide it. In exchange, we want access to your galaxy." The tendril pulsed, slow and deliberate. The translator whirred again. "Tritanium is acceptable, but the price is not minerals." Eva frowned. "What then?" "The price is rage." Silence. Eva stared at the tendril, her mind racing. Rage? What did the Sylvi want with anger? The translator whirred, its tone flat. "Rage is a rare commodity in our galaxy. We have observed humanity. Your capacity for fury is unique. We wish to study it." Eva's blood ran cold. "Study it? How?" The tendril pulsed, the light dimming. "We will take it. From you." The Veritas was a ghost ship. Most of the crew had been rotated out over the decades, replaced by fresh faces who had never seen the Sylvi. Eva remained, her obsession with the negotiation consuming her. She reviewed the data again and again, searching for a hidden clause, a trick. The Sylvi's terms were simple: provide a human subject willing to surrender their rage, and the wormhole would open. But rage wasn't a thing you could give away. Not like a mineral. It was part of you, a core emotion. Eva had never been angry in her life. She was too controlled, too diplomatic. But she knew people who were. She thought of Marcus Thorne, the ship's security chief, a man whose temper was legendary. She found him in the gym, lifting weights that were far too heavy for a human. His muscles were corded, his face set in a scowl. "Thorne," Eva said, "we need to talk." He dropped the weights, the clang echoing in the empty room. "What now, Commander?" "Another decade of waiting." "The Sylvi have made their offer," Eva said. "But they don't want minerals." Thorne raised an eyebrow. "What do they want?" "Rage. They want to take it from someone." Thorne's scowl deepened. "You're joking." "I wish I were." Marcus Thorne stood before the wormhole, his fists clenched. The Sylvi tendril pulsed, its light inviting. Eva stood beside him, her expression unreadable. "Are you sure about this?" she asked. Thorne's laugh was harsh, devoid of humor. "Sure? No. But what choice do we have? Humanity's on the brink, Eva. We need this." The tendril pulsed again, the translator whirring. "We are ready to receive." Thorne took a step forward. "Do it." The tendril wrapped around his arm, not painfully, but firmly. The translator emitted a low hum. "The process will take time. You will feel altered." Thorn gritted his teeth. Just get on with it. The tendril pulsed, and a wave of energy washed over Thorn. His eyes widened, his breath hitching. Eva watched, fascinated and horrified. Thorn's face contorted, his muscles tensing. A low growl escaped his lips, deep and guttural. The tendril absorbed the sound, the light around it brightening. Minutes passed. Hours. Days. Thorn stood motionless, his rage bleeding into the wormhole. Eva noticed subtle changes. His posture became rigid, his eyes distant. The Sylvi were taking more than just anger. They were taking a piece of his soul. When the tendril finally released him, Thorn stumbled back, gasping. He looked empty. His usual fire was gone, replaced by a chilling calm. Eva reached out, but he flinched. Don't, he said, his voice flat. The translator word. The transaction is complete. The wormhole is open. The shimmering curtain of light widened, revealing a galaxy unlike anything humanity had ever seen. Stars burned in hues of violet and emerald, nebulae swirled with unnatural colors. It was beautiful and terrifying. Eva turned to Thorn. How do you feel? He shrugged, his movements slow. Fine. But he wasn't. The rage that had defined him was gone. In its place was something hollow, something broken. Eva had traded a man's sanity for a gateway to the stars. Was it worth it? The first expedition through the wormhole was a disaster. The Veritas sent a small team, led by Eva herself, into the uncharted galaxy. What they found defied explanation. The stars were alive. Not metaphorically. Literally. They pulsed with consciousness, their light a form of communication. The Sylvi had not lied. They had opened the door. But they had also unleashed something else. The rage Thorn had surrendered had infected the galaxy. Stars flickered with violent energy, their light burning with unnatural fury. Eva's team barely escaped. One of the scientists, a man named Dr. Eris Thorn, no relation to Marcus, was consumed by the light, his body dissolving into stardust. When they returned to the Veritas, Eva was changed. The guilt weighed on her, a physical burden. She found Marcus in the observation deck, staring at the wormhole. They didn't just take my anger, he said, his voice hollow. They took everything. Eva had no response. The Sylvi's bargain was a curse disguised as a gift. Humanity had gained the stars, but at what cost? The Sylvi made contact again. Another tendril emerged, coiling around the deck railing. The translator word to life after a decade of silence. The experiment was successful. We require more. Eva's blood ran cold. More? You already took everything from him. The tendril pulsed. His rage was potent. But we need more. Stronger. Faster. Marcus stepped forward, his eyes dead. Take mine too. If it means they'll leave us alone. Eva stared at him, horrified. No, we can't. But Marcus was already walking toward the tendril. Do it, he said. Take it all. The tendril pulsed, wrapping around him again. This time, the process was faster. More violent. Marcus's body convulsed, his screams silent. When it was over, he collapsed, his eyes vacant. The wormhole pulsed, wider than before. The translator word. The gate is open. Explore. But beware. The galaxy hungers. The second expedition was worse. The stars were not just alive, they were angry. They lashed out, their light burning ships, melting hulls. The Veritas limped back through the wormhole, its crew decimated. Eva was the only senior officer left alive. She stood on the bridge, staring at the wormhole, her mind reeling. The Sylvi had not just taken rage. They had weaponized it. The galaxy was now a battlefield, stars fighting each other with fury. Humanity had stumbled into a war they couldn't win. The translator word again. We require more rage. The galaxy is not yet satisfied. Eva's laugh was bitter. You're monsters. The tendril pulsed. Monsters? No. We are gardeners. Rage is fertilizer. It makes the galaxy grow. Eva stared at the tendril, her mind racing. The Sylvi weren't evil. They were just different. They saw rage as a resource, not a tragedy. But the cost was too high. Humanity couldn't survive like this. She made a decision. Eva walked onto the observation deck, Marcus beside her. He was a shell of his former self, his movements robotic. The tendril pulsed, inviting. We are ready. The translator word. Eva turned to Marcus. I'm sorry. He didn't respond. The tendril wrapped around both of them, its light blinding. Eva braced herself, but there was no pain. Instead, she felt something else. A release. The rage she had carried for decades, the guilt, the frustration, the fear, it all surged out of her, flooding the wormhole. The tendril pulsed, brighter than ever. When the light faded, Eva and Marcus stood alone. The wormhole was gone. In its place was only empty space. The translator word, its tone final. The experiment is complete. The galaxy is fed. Eva looked at Marcus, his eyes clear for the first time in years. He smiled, a real smile. "We did it," he said. Eva nodded. But as she looked at the stars, she couldn't shake the feeling that they were watching and waiting. The galaxy was fed, but hunger always returns.